When light turns dark and all is grim, the shadow lurks, then lies within. The crack of skulls and demon spawn, crushing weight will fall upon the weak and feeble, crying out, Hell hath come to walk about the earth with death and thirst for blood, so below as up above, to torture souls and slay the rest. Their goal to feast and then infest. Your time is now, the time has come. Maps aesthetic is 50% from its original price, and so I say, go forth and pay with no delay. For if you let it come to pass, you'll feel like such a giant ass. Mapsblack.com. Get them before they get you.
If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump with your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
In this episode of Mind Pump,
he does the Bill Cosby.
Sal, Justin, and I, for 28 minutes, get into some of our introductory conversations. We first talk about simians. What are simians? Is it simian panda? Are we talking about monkeys? Or are we talking about ourselves? Then we get into Adam's big TV experience.
Appearance.
I'm going to go ahead and change that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The hunt. Then we get into The Haunting of the Hill House on Netflix. For all you guys that like scary movies.
Scared the shit out of me.
I will pass. Then we get into the difference between Felix Gray glasses. That's Felix Gray, Gray glasses. And the difference between the ones that Sal used to wear that block out all the light and the ones that we wear now that you can wear.
The less cool, now the cool ones.
We are also sponsored by Felix Gray Glasses. You can go to Felix Gray Glasses, Gray's GRAY.com/Mind Pump, and you get free shipping and free returns. Then we get into Netflix raises $2 billion. They're continuing to drive themselves into debt to provide more entertainment for you guys. So
God bless you, Netflix.
They're exploding.
Yeah, they are. And then we get into Four Sigmatic's new mushroom focus shots for energy. Sal's favorite sponsor.
Yeah, love them. There's what
let's
lion's
do
mane,
some shots.
a little bit of rhodiola, a little bit of caffeine to wake you up.
That's right. And you guys, we are sponsored by Four Sigmatic, so you guys can go to foursigmatic.com/Mind Pump. Make sure you enter in the code Mind Pump at the checkout for your discount.
Ooh. And then we get into the questions. You want to pull that one off?
Yeah,
go ahead.
All right. First question is, what's our opinion on fitness influencers doing these 10,000 plus calorie cheat meals on YouTube videos that have become so popular? You get all these fitness people who are showing you that they can stuff their faces with lots of food.
It's basically like stapling your nuts to your leg.
It's exactly like that, Justin.
Yeah.
What is our opinion on that, and what is our opinion on the nut stapling to the leg thing?
Yeah.
Next question. This person's lower back really sore and tight when they wake up in the morning. Now, is it because they sleep bad, or is it because they've got some muscle imbalances and they need to do some correctional exercises? We did write
the latter, Sal.
Thank you, Justin, for giving away
No
the
problem.
answer. We do have a back pain guide that talks about how to alleviate back pain. You can find that at mindpumpfree.com. The next question, what are our thoughts on those very, very unstylish barefoot shoes? Adam loves them so much. The ones where your toes are free.
Yeah.
Super cool.
You can like interlace toes with your buddy. It's so gross. Can you get similar benefits?
We should start a trend doing that.
From flat-soled shoes like Chucks? Are there benefits, or are they just ugly?
Yeah.
And the final question, what is our opinion on being a trainer part-time? Is online training something you should do even if you have no one-on-one in-person training experience?
Good question, Mark.
Ooh.
We have some very strong opinions on that. You won't want to miss that part of this episode. Also, this month, half off MAPS Aesthetic all month long. Remember, MAPS Aesthetic, that's our bodybuilder focus program. This is the program that is designed to make your body look amazing.
Do
Look,
you
aesthetic.
want to get sexy? Do you?
Aesthetic is sexy. That's
Yes.
right. They are both, I think, intertwined. If you go to mapsblack.com, use the code BLACK50, BLACK, and the number 50 at checkout, you'll get half off. And if you have questions on our other MAPS programs, we have several other MAPS programs, some designed for athletes, some designed for just speeding up your metabolism, building muscle, other programs designed for at-home workouts without any exercise equipment, and bundles that combine them all together. Just go to mapsfitnessproducts.com. Go check those out. Do you guys know what simian means?
What does it mean?
Simian?
Yeah, it's
To fill with semen?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No, it's a type of primate.
It's
the class of primate. It's like
yeah,
human, but
exactly.
it's for primates.
Exactly. It's something like that. So it's like monkey.
Yeah, it's like monkey, apes. It's another term for apes, right?
It's something like that. So when I call you, like Adam, when I'm like, yeah, my simian sidekick, it's kind of a joke.
So what's that kid's name? Simian Panda. So what's he?
He spells it wrong.
Oh, he spells it wrong.
Yeah, his name is spelled different.
Everybody spells everything wrong. That's why I fit in now.
Yeah.
Panda.
All these kids would be starting these companies and they leave out all the vowels.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell simian.
Was that going to be something that is going to die?
Simian.
Oh, IAN.
Yeah, Simian. It means monkeys and apes, including the New World monkeys and platyrrhines and catarrhine.
What are New World monkeys? Am I out of the loop on that?
I don't know. Let's look this up. Old World monkeys and apes, including humans. So we are simians.
Oh, so we. Oh, nah.
Yeah.
So it's not really. So it's not really a joke anymore.
No, it's just. What's the word? Pompous.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, you were saying, Adam, that you were on TV last night.
you were mentioning your fame and glory.
I sat right behind the Suns bench, and it was like, you can't if you're right behind one of the team's bench, the camera's over there like the whole time. So my phone was just like blowing up all.
Were you making signs and?
No, I'm not an asshole like that.
Yeah,
I enjoy the game when I go there.
Yeah. Who are the Suns playing?
The Warriors.
Oh, okay.
I went to watch the Warriors play.
The Moons.
What are you doing, Sal?
Don't even.
I know what the basketball game is like.
The basketballs.
No, it's a great game. I mean, Warriors just thumped them, dude. We were up by fucking 30.
30 points, bro, and they won.
Dude, you already got to see them play the Lakers too, right?
Yeah. So
you bastard.
No,
I want to see that.
No, the Lakers got into a overtime game with. You want to see something cool is look at LeBron's tying shot to go into overtime last night against the Spurs.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, he must have pulled up. He pulled up between the 3-point line and half court with 2 seconds left and drilled a 3-pointer to send it to overtime.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He's too good.
They lost, though. They lost.
Yeah.
It's actually his first 0-3 start since 2004.
Wow.
So it's a big deal.
They're still trying to figure out the dynamic with him and the mesh of the team.
Yeah, they have a really young team, so I think they're building for the future. I know a lot of Lakers. My best friend's a big Laker fan. I think of course you're excited when the best player on earth comes to your team, but
yeah,
they're not.
But he can't win by himself.
They're not going to do shit for a while. Speaking of teams that aren't winning, so our Bay Area teams right now are like San Francisco and the Raiders are just dog shit right now, and. Yeah. But I'm excited about the Raiders.
Sad story.
So many people are talking shit about the Raiders and what's happening there. So John Gruden is the coach this year.
Yeah, he came back.
That's a huge deal.
Dude, yeah, I love that guy.
Huge deal. But now everybody is criticizing him because he's gutting the team. They just traded Amari Cooper over to the Cowboys. They let go of their star defensive player before the season even started. There's rumors that Carr might get let go. So
is he just trying to cut down on cost before they move to Vegas?
Not cost. He's cutting players that he did not. This is my theory. I think all this was discussed before he even took the job.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in. There's a lot of parallels in sports leadership as there is in business leadership. And every time that I inherited a team or a staff of people, I almost always had to fire.
You want a clean house.
All of them.
Yeah.
And the times that I didn't do that were some of the biggest mistakes I made in my early years of my career because if they're not your people, it's really hard to get them and lead them in the direction that you want to. So,
you walk into a new business. Hi, I'm your new manager. Everybody listens to this episode. They're like, "That's nice. we're all going to be fired." That's his strategy.
Like, oh no,
that's what he fucking does every single time.
It's true though. Do you disagree? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I've never had to fire a whole staff, but usually there's an example. I mean, I know what you're saying. There's usually an example of a few that because there's it's like the old dogs in there. They don't want to conform, and if you don't get rid of the bad apple, it does poison the whole lot for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And you do have to assert yourself many times when you walk in right away. Yeah. Otherwise, you get walked all over.
I would typically come in, and the first month would be just me observing. And if you were a staff member, you would probably think I was lazy or I just wasn't going to do anything. But it was literally just me watching, like, who's going to do their job without me saying anything, who comes in late, who looks professional, who acts professional, who's hustling on and off the clock. Like, I'm paying attention to all these little details, who's fucking around, like at work. Like, and so I'm just watching, and then the examples start happening after that. And then I just start chopping heads, man. And for me, it was not just a few as an example. It was normally most of them and only a few I would keep, and it was normally the few that were special.
You had like a staff meeting of 40 people. Like, all right, John and Sam, raise your hands. Everybody else is fired. The rest of you guys are gone. We'll see you guys later.
Here's your package at the door.
You're all
But
dead.
I mean, when think of it like a sport like football, where there's so many. I mean, what's the roster, like 53 or something like that? There's so many,
a ton of people.
Right, there's a lot of people on a single team that you're trying to move in the same direction. And man, talk about, I can't imagine what that's like at the professional level, because I know how challenging it was for me just leading average men and women. Imagine the egos that you have with these college athletes that now just are getting paid millions of dollars because and everyone's told them how great they are their entire lives.
Well, it's interesting. It makes me think that he's in it for the long haul. Like Gruden. I don't know. Him coming back to me felt like kind of like he was flirting with just trying to come in and win a title and like use whatever talent that was there to kind of get him there. But it sounds to me like he's rebuilding.
He's rebuilding, and if you're a Raider fan, you're listening right now, because they've been taking a lot of heat. There's been a lot of shit talking about Gruden, and everyone's pissed because, of course, they did not like letting go some of these players, but. Again, I believe that the leadership is so important to professional sports, and this is a debate my friends and I get in all the time. Like, some people believe it's all about talent acquisition, it's all about your athletes. No. My opinion on that is that it's a professional sport. Everybody's the cream of the crop. Everybody is the best of the best. Like, if you got to the professional level at any sport,
they're just like a bunch of spoiled kids,
right?
You got to wrangle them all together.
Right? Can you get them all to work together? And I think we get examples of this in sports all the time. This is also, again, what I love about watching sports and watching a team like the Warriors is they've mastered that. They've mastered this selfless playing and putting other with some of the biggest superstars on their team and the biggest egos in the league, all working together, and it's magical to watch. And just 10 years ago, I wasn't going to as many games because that's what I love to watch. I love to see the players, but I love to see the all-stars sitting on the bench and some rookie this year scoring a basket and the bench clearing and picking them up and making a big deal about it and like celebrating.
Yeah,
and then
everybody's bought in.
And then I'm sitting behind the Suns bench and I'm watching them just getting whooped, right? And then the looks on everyone, like I'm literally in the huddle. I can hear the coach giving the timeouts. I can hear what they're coaching to and everything, and I can just see the players just moping, frustrated, talking shit to each other because it's just.
Of course, you're not going to do well. With that energy.
No, you could just see it. There's a very distinct difference between a team that is playing together versus a bunch of individuals.
Dude, I watched some of that. What was it you recommended the haunting?
I watched it too. I watched 2 of those episodes.
Oh shit! Isn't it crazy?
It's creepy as fuck. It's not that scary,
dude. They do the writing is good.
It's really creepy.
The writing is good.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not scary?
I thought it was gonna be like jump out of your seat scary or whatever, the way people were describing it. But it's just like it's leading. I mean, it's definitely, it has those pauses and those things, like kind of like back in the day. That was what I loved about like Stephen King's and like some of the better writing that. that
The
where it would like
uncomfortable moments.
you don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, and then it would like you hear like the music kind of go down and then it stops and it's just this uncomfortable quiet. And then like something little small happens, but nothing like super gory and crazy.
Yeah.
So it's
Keeps
very
you on edge
very
the whole time.
suspenseful. It's very suspenseful.
It is, but it's good writing.
Fuck that,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
really
got
good, bro. You got to
No,
watch
you're right.
it.
It
No.
is
So
good
let me
writing.
hold on,
Bro,
Maybe I can help you. Maybe I can help you.
I don't need help.
No. Maybe I know you don't need help, but maybe I can help you with this. So here's why I love scary movies so much. First of all, I don't like all scary movies because most scary movies are dumb. Most of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Just like most of other categories of movies. There's very few that are really, really good. But the reason why scary movies, the good ones, are so great is because in order to make a scary movie really, really good, it has to have excellent writing.
It has to be believable.
It has to have good suspense is important, but writers who rely on suspense, it gets cheap and old real quick. Like real quick, it's like, oh, someone's going to jump out there. Oh, someone's going to jump out there.
Yes.
Horrifying images. That's also something that can be used, but that can also become cheap and overused. Where it's like every fucking scene is
Right.
a girl walking down the stairs upside down with her head twisted or something. Like, okay, I'm over it now. You have to have really good writing to make a good scary movie. And this one looks like, I only watched 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's funny, dude, by the way. I didn't know it was a series.
Yeah.
So Jessica and I sat down, and I thought it was a movie.
Oh.
And I convinced her, I'm like, because she hates scary movies. I'm like,
She's with me then.
yeah, I'm like, come on, babe, let's watch this together. And, it's a scary movie. And so I made a deal with her. I said, you could pick the next 3 things that we watch if we watch this.
You gotta make deals over here.
I do.
Yeah.
Mostly because I pick almost everything that we watch.
Very, very similar.
So she's like, okay. So we sat down and we watched the first episode, and it's a series, so it ends without any resolution.
Yeah.
She's like, what? And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, it's a series. And she's like, you've tricked me. She's so angry. She's like, you fucking tricked me. She's like, I have to watch the next one now, and I don't want it, but I have to. I'm like, we don't have to watch it if you're scared. She's like, no, I have to watch it now.
Take away on it.
Yeah, but we.
No, it's great because it does this. It plays off of when they were kids, and then the present and like how it all affected them, and it like all kind of like. There's this total like you see the psychology there of like how that like literally affected them in their job decision, and then like what became of them because of like this constant like horrifying like childhood that they had to experience.
Now, are you guys like me when you guys watch these late night series and stuff? Like, are you guys rocking your Felix Grays?
Oh, at night?
Yeah.
I do during the day.
I wear the Felix Grays. I'll wear them at night, but usually during the day if I'm on my phone or on my computer.
When you're writing, right?
Yeah, because they're daytime. I mean, they're for day use. So, this was a big thing. When we got on a call with them, they explained the difference because I would wear the fucking orange ones that block everything out at night.
Right.
And you don't want to wear that during the day because you want
you
your
sleepy.
eyes to know you're awake.
Right.
So the Felix rays are designed for day use, so it limits the damaging rays, but also allows
it could use it. I use them at night too.
You can,
because at nighttime you're also looking at a TV screen or a computer if you're watching it close, and you get the high blue light that's going to send a signal for you to be.
Now that I do it consistently, I can tell a big difference when I don't. Like if I don't have, if I'm not wearing anything, I can tell a big difference.
It's a big deal. I'll literally like last night I sat down. We didn't get home from the game till like 11 o'clock. And I wanted to get on my email and check stats. I hadn't done any of that for the afternoon to evening time. And I had left my Felix Grays downstairs. And I'll get out of bed, go all the way downstairs, get the glasses
Makes a big difference.
because I notice a huge difference, especially when it's like my phone and it's late and I'm in bed and I'm looking at numbers.
But they also look good. Like when Jessica wears them, I think they're hot on her. I love it when she wears. They're very attractive frames.
No, they are stylish.
Yeah. But back to the whole scary movie thing. What I was gonna say, Adam, is so when I was a kid. I don't remember what movie it was. I think it was, what's that Stephen King movie where the car comes alive?
Oh, yeah. What is that, Monster something?
No. It's a name.
I know what you're
it's
saying.
a name. The car has a name.
Oh, right.
And I don't remember what it
I know,
was.
yeah.
But when I was a kid, my parents were watching that on TV, and I snuck out of bed, and I was behind the couch watching it with them. Mm-hmm. And there was a scene that happened with the car. Doug's maybe pulling it up for us. Oh, Christine. There you go.
Christine.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's another one. Maximum Overdrive. That one was stupid. But anyway, I was watching from behind the couch. A scary moment happened, and I was a young kid, and I screamed. And my parents turned around, realized that I was watching, And from that moment on, I'd have these nightmares and stuff. And so my mom helped coach me with these movies. And she said to me, she said, Sal, she goes, there's literally people behind the cameras and a staff making this movie. And there's people that write out the story and that are creating this thing. And so what I did as a kid is when I'd watch a scary movie, when I would get too personal, when I'd start to get scared, I started to watch it through the eyes of like a director. And then I started to learn to appreciate the writing and appreciate what they did, to the point now where that's my favorite part about watching them. So like there's a scene in the Haunting of Hill House where the dad, remember the banging on the walls in the second episode?
Oh, yeah,
and then the dad comes in the room and then he's talking to them. All of a sudden he stops and his mouth opens and it makes this really terrifying. Brilliant the way that they did that, because you weren't anticipating it, and it gives you this
there was some good
freaky ass feeling. You know,
there's some good ones. They left you there like you're like, oh shit. No,
it's good writing.
It is good writing.
It is.
It's all about the setup. You know, as much as it's about like telling like.
Well, I'm glad I shared it with you fuckers, but I have no desire to watch.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I heard a bunch. So I have my family. So my cousins, and you guys know Brett, Casey's boy, and so Brett and Derek, and when they're younger than me. They're a good. What it was, Brett, a good 8 years younger than me. Maybe about 8 years younger than I am. Maybe
Brett's
more.
younger than you?
No, way younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Brett's maybe 10 years younger than me now I think about it. He's 27, 28.
Really?
Like yeah.
He looks very mature for his age.
So they used to watch, when they were like 5, you know, they were watching The Ring and shit like scary ass fucking movies as little kids. And I was like, I wasn't introduced to it till I was older. Then when I was older, I was like, man, I don't.
Did you have a traumatizing experience or something?
No, what it is this. Like, I love movies, absolutely love movies. But the part that, like, if someone were to say, well, what is it about movies that you like so much? Well, as I've gotten older, what I've connected is that the part that I like about movies is the ability for me to completely get out of my brain, to shut off the constant winding and thinking and moving.
Puts you in the moment.
And it puts me in the moment, and I'm being entertained, and I don't have to do anything. It's very relaxing for me.
Right.
And so what I don't like about scary movies, because I love, I've watched a lot still. I've seen The Ring, I've seen Sixth Sense, I've seen a lot of these movies that everyone's like, you have to watch. And so I've still watched them. And I can appreciate the writing and all that. But why I don't go back and I don't continue to watch more of them is I don't like the anxiety that I get watching it. It's not relaxing. So I really would have to be in this mood to like not relax. Like I have to be in a mood like, hey, you know what? Should I go ride some roller coasters or maybe watch a scary movie? I need to be in that mood.
Do you not like roller coasters either?
I love roller coasters. But the point is that same feeling that you get of dipping up and down and turning and like that.
Maybe because you're calling it
for that.
Yeah, maybe because you're identifying it as anxiety instead of excitement.
Yeah,
because it's the same feeling.
Yeah,
I identify it as excitement. So when I'm watching it, I'm like,
oh shit, it's gonna happen.
And then
and then it doesn't, or then it does.
Well,
and then I laugh afterwards.
Anticipating someone to get stabbed in the throat is more anxiety than it is excitement for me.
See, here's the thing.
So I guess I could turn that into like.
So here's the thing.
Yes, but stab the motherfucker.
Get him right in the throat.
Well, no. Here's the thing. When I see like that kind of shit and it's just gratuitous and there's no good writing, I get sick of it real quick, and I'm like, dumb. This is stupid. But if it pulls me in and then it does that to me, it's like, oh, that was so good. You fucking did a good job.
Yeah, it's just a real good story. And then they have just those little moments where like, oh yeah, it is a scary movie. I forgot. You know, it's like you almost forget about it. Dude, I got a good movie for you. Like, so are you into mockumentaries at all? Like Waiting for Guffman and like a Dog Show and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
I've never seen any of those.
Okay, so
what's up?
Spinal Tap. Have you ever seen Spinal?
No.
Okay, fuck you guys.
I know what mockumentaries are.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like it's kind of like a documentary, but it's like satire. It's like it's funny. It's like they're just fucking around. Like
it's like a fake
making fun of it, right? So there's this one about like making a scary movie, and it's called like American Movie, and I saw this a long time ago when I was in college, and it's so fun. It's like unintentionally funny. It's like so like. It's so cheesy and it's just like I'm trying to like think of like some words to describe, but it's like these two guys are just ugly ass dudes that are just like trying to make a movie and trying to like pitch it and sell it, and like it's like the whole process of making it with like gore and like all this cheesy shit involved. But anyway, you'd love it, dude. It's like it's one of my favorite movies.
You'll have to send it over to me, and I'll tell you. While we're on the movie talk, you just reminded me of an article that I just read on Netflix, and Netflix raises another $2 billion in debt. So Netflix announced another $2 billion in debt financing. The sixth time in 4 years the company is taking out more than $1 billion in debt. So the company is on track to add 27.4 million subscribers this year. That feat took HBO 40 years to do.
Wow.
They're fucking doubling down hard. And here's some other cool stats that I read, that Netflix is the most popular TV platform at 39.7% of TV watchers are watching Netflix, twice as many as what YouTube is at 17%, and 3 times as many as cable at 12%. So cable is like almost dead.
It's crazy. Everything I've watched lately are Netflix originals, and that hadn't been the case. You know, like a lot of these series, they've all been like they've created it, which is it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, pay attention now to how politicians now start to get their hands in that shit. They're powerful mediums, and it's a matter of time.
Well, especially when you hear things like that right there, where you rate, where's this money coming from, right? Like who's throwing millions and billions of dollars at a company to help them grow, and do they have an agenda? So
now,
that would be interesting to me.
And
too.
now Netflix doesn't you do advertising at all, right? There's no advertising whatsoever. It's all membership fee based. Do you guys think it'll stay that way forever?
God, I hope so. I mean, that's the biggest benefit to it. In my opinion.
I think 100% it will. I think they know that that's what was their secret sauce into growing to where they're at. I mean, streaming, instantaneous, binge watching, like
but think about it this way, and I agree with you somewhat, and then sometimes I think differently, because there's like very, very powerful brands that are out there that are losing ways of advertising themselves, because TV and old media is dying. It's dead. Soon it's going to be completely dead. You have all this other media, and you have all these big brands that are going to try, that need ways to advertise themselves.
Well, you might be okay. So I could see this. I could see
maybe there's like a free option.
Well, yes, I could see 2 big major, and that's one of them. I could see like how Pandora does it, where it's like it's if you want it free, you can watch the way you watch right now. If you want it, with no ads, then you're paying a premium fee.
Now let's think about it this way. So this is interesting. I never thought of this. So let's say we have companies like Netflix offering that free option so that they could have ads. That automatically separates their audience from the people willing to pay versus the people who aren't willing to pay. And I wonder what that'll say about that audience. You know what I'm saying?
What you know about them?
Yeah, like what you know about them, and because they're less likely to pay, does it mean that they have less money? Does it mean that they're less?
Well, they'll be able to see a lot of things. They'll also see the stuff that they watch the most. I mean, all of this stuff is. I mean, that's the future, right? The future.
Like you'll only get advertised. Like in other words, you're not going to get targeted by advertisers the same if you have a lot of money and pay for everything to not have advertising.
The most interesting thing that I see with all of these platforms is they're just all gathering data on us. And why I like that movie that show that we never finished really watching, I only got 3 episodes in, the 70s futuristic one, was the ad buddy thing, was literally just that, because I think that's really fascinating that they wrote that in, and the way they have it where it's like an actual person. I think we are building that right now. We are. I mean, and when you look at Amazon, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Netflix, we are just offering up all this information about ourselves, what we like to do on our pastime, what type of movies we're into, what weird ass porn we watch, what types of things we like, what things we dislike, what articles we read. You're going to know so much about every individual that you will no longer be marketing. You're never going to, we're in the next 10 years, you'll never get blanketed with advertising of stuff you don't want. That's scary to think. I'm never going to see in 10 years, I don't believe I'm going to see anything that I don't want. Everything that's going to get thrown in my face is going to be stuff that
you're like, damn.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Ah, you got me. Yeah.
Oh, shit, I want that too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's going to take
You know what it's going to remind me of? When you were a kid watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
I want that toy. I want
every
that
goddamn
toy. I want this
commercial
one
was something
for
that I
Christmas,
wanted.
for birthday.
Or it was some cereal that I really wanted that my mom would
Damn
never
you, Toucan
that would
Sam.
never buy me. Yeah. By the way, those commercials were super what's the word? They lied to you a lot when I was a kid. I remember watching the G.I. Joe commercials, and then you get the toy, and I'm like, this doesn't fucking blow up and do crazy shit.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It was always the kids like doing like playing with them, and then they'd like shoot like missiles at each other.
Yeah, and they've got
things
this crazy backdrop, and the fucking tank
It doesn't
is driving.
shoot that far.
Yeah, no.
It just goes,
it's like,
pew.
exactly. It doesn't knock anybody over.
Yeah,
I always wanted a tank
pathetic.
that shot for
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you saw Justin's sons that he had. That was cool that he was driving around the other day.
Yeah, he had this like really specific request to get a remote control tank that shot missiles. And I was like, what
That was
the fuck? like, really? Does that even exist? Sure enough, it exists. Like, he just constructed that in his own little brain and was like, wow, like, okay, I guess, honey, let's get this to him, and it works.
And of course, as being the dad,
I'm like, oh, I wish I had this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're thinking to yourself, like, I don't want to spoil my kid. You're like, but I want that too.
Yeah, I want it. So I'm like playing with him, with it. It's
Remote
rad.
control tank that shoots things.
Hell yeah, it's awesome.
Did you guys see the new product by Physiology?
Oh, the shots.
Focus shot. So
Yeah.
it's like ready to drink.
What's in it? Is it a new
Lion's mane, rhodiola. So both of which are consistently shown in studies to improve focus in people. Rhodiola in particular increases time to fatigue. So it's actually a great I guess you could classify it as a non-stimulant based, product that'll get you more focused or give you more endurance. But it also has a little bit of caffeine, about 40 milligrams. So about as much as you'd find in green tea. This should be a very, very good combination. I think a lot of people are going to like that because I like lion's mane with caffeine. Just that combination for me is fire. I know Doug is a huge fan of rhodiola. So there they are. So there they are. They're in these little like ready to drink.
Oh, a little shit, almost like a 5-hour energy. Feel to
you know what I like about it?
But healthy.
Here's what I like about it, and this is why Four Sigmatic's one of my favorite companies. They don't rely on the cheap stimulant. You know what I mean by that is anytime
it's not just loaded with caffeine.
That's it,
and that's why you feel it.
Anytime you buy these shots, these ready to drink shots or these ready to drink drinks that promise to give you energy and whatever. All they are mainly is lots of caffeine. So I don't care which one you go with, 5-hour energy, whatever, whichever one you go with, Red Bull, whatever. What's giving you the energy is the fact that they have a lot of caffeine.
Yeah.
Four Sigmatic doesn't rely on that cheap trick. They're actually including things in doses that are efficacious, that actually, produce what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite combinations.
Now this is live, Doug, so they can get it now. It's all organic. It comes in a 12-pack or a 6-pack? What is that?
That looks like a 6.
Oh, there's different options?
Yeah. So that was a 6-pack, the one that he had up there.
Yeah, no, I thought I saw a 12-pack also.
Yeah. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, no,
and here's the deal. If you want a lot of caffeine, you could probably have one of these and then have a little bit of coffee. Mix it up a little bit.
But I bet that would be awesome together.
You'd be surprised too. You'd be surprised with caffeine once you get your tolerance down, and then you mix it with certain things like lion's mane. It's a whole nother experience. Totally different experience. You get way more energy, but it's much more of a. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's funny. Who was it? Taylor. Who works with us. I was talking to him about this because he was talking about coffee and how he likes caffeine, and I said, have you tried having a little bit less caffeine but combining it with something else? And he says, no, like what? And so we're going back and forth and said, okay, here's a basic, easy one. Theanine, the amino acid theanine. Combine it with caffeine and watch how you feel. And so he's like, well, what am I going to get? Am I going to get more hyper energy? And I said, no, it's just different. It's much more of a smooth energy. And so we tried it, and now he ends up, there's a freaking bottle of theanine now in the office that he takes.
Yeah, I see that.
With coffee all the time. And this is something I try to communicate to.
You introduced this to me. I do the same thing.
Oh, dude, I try to communicate this to clients. It's like you can definitely wire yourself more, but that doesn't mean you're more effective. Mm-hmm. In fact, it'll make you less effective. You're more shaky. Studies will show that too much will reduce your cognitive performance, will reduce your creative performance.
Yeah, you want to elongate that nice, like, even high as far as, like, you feel that cognition, you feel that boost of, like, focus and clarity.
Yes, clarity. You want that smooth clarity. I think I the last time I had you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Justin, it makes a big difference. It's
add a little CBD.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want your caffeine to do for you? Do you want it just to make you jittery and awake?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be focused?
Yeah, that's easy to do.
And calm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And trust me, you want the focus and calm. You'll perform better in sports, and you'll have better workouts too. So better combination.
There you go.
Eagle has landed.
Today's Quah is brought to you by MAPS Anabolic. If you're looking to maximize your overall muscle and strength, MAPS Anabolic is the perfect place to start. With a full 30-day money-back guarantee, there is absolutely zero risk. So what are you waiting for? Go to mindpumpmedia.com and get started today.
It's the motherfucking Quah.
Eagle has landed.
Quah.
First question is from Hecka Stubborn.
I'm hecka stubborn.
Hecka, who says that?
What is your opinion on fitness influencers doing these 10,000 calorie cheat meals on YouTube that have become so popular?
I have something to say about
They're
these
so
things.
fucking
I have something to
stupid.
say about all this stuff.
You know what? I don't care. Do what you want. Just don't call yourself a fitness person. That's the bottom line.
I don't even care that. Here's the responsibility all lays on you as consumers paying attention and watching some bullshit like that.
This is dumb.
And there's I know quite a few people in the space of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever your biggest platform is, that their entire business model revolves around chasing these trends. Mm-hmm. Whether they're doing some Tide Pod challenge or they're they're cross-pollinating with some other huge celebrity person and they're talking trash and creating fake drama, all this shit. These are all fucking gimmicks to get more eyes and more attention on you. And if your business closes at 1%, or if whatever it is you're selling, whether it be a supplement line or apparel or bullshit stuff, whatever it is that you're selling, you doing all these things just gets eyes and attention. And out of that, the eyes and attention, you're going to close at whatever percentage. And it's typically pretty low because a lot of these people that are tuning in really aren't shopping for something. They just want to see some moron eat as much food as they possibly can in a single day. And so when I see something like that, or I see somebody constantly chasing trends,
It's cheap.
It's cheap. And I go, they don't have a long-term business plan. It's a hustle. And they're just trying to ride whatever trend is going on. And I'll tell you right now, like even if they're making good money at the moment right now doing that, it'll get old fast. It'll get old fast, and you'll get tired of having to do that all the time and relying on all these people to come in and see these gimmick things that you're doing just so you can get a couple extra eyes.
It's almost directly parallel to me to like the whole Jackass series. It's just like, like I watched that series. I was like all into it, but dude, like them continuously like eating like some animal shit or like, stapling their nuts to their leg or, like what, how are you gonna like up your game? Like always, it has to be something. Yeah, and at what value? And it's like you just look and see what's happened to those guys. Like it's just it's fucked.
That's a great example. That trend is dead.
It's the extreme of it.
The first Jackass that ever came out, when they did it, it was like, holy shit! I can't believe these guys are all doing that.
It was funny. It was a lot more clever in the beginning, and then they just had to keep like upping it, and it's just like. Yeah, it's like
you could argue, Justin, that he might have been one of the first to really start that. I'm trying to think like who was doing just crazy, weird, gimmicky shit on TV.
Yeah, it started out because like it was skate videos. They would do like these parties and like they would like hit each other with shit and and like punch each other in balls and like who doesn't want to see that? It's hilarious. But yeah, that gets old real fast. Like that's your only thing.
Yeah.
The thing about these big 10,000 calorie plus challenges, in order to eat that much food, and I hate that they call them cheat meals. It's not a cheat meal. First of all, nobody can eat 10,000 calories in a day of normal healthy food. It just maybe you can. I don't want to say nobody, but most people can't. In order to do this, you have to eat hyper palatable, super processed, calorie dense type of foods, which is what you find on these whatever challenges. The fact that it's fitness people doing it just irks the shit out of me. It's so weird. It's like it's like a website that's promoting abstinence and you shouldn't have sex with a bunch of people, and in order to celebrate, what we're going to do today is have a fucking gangbang and bang. Yeah, it makes
gangbang. Whoa,
it makes
you really took that one.
It makes no sense. It's so stupid, and I hate that it's fitness people that are doing this. There's that one dude that has that page that remember I made fun of him a long time ago. I don't remember his name. He was on the Dr. Oz show. Believe it or not, recently.
He made it to Dr. Oz?
He was on the Dr. Oz show.
Oh, man. Really?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know
exactly. He's that dude. He's like, I got a six-pack, and look what I eat. And he eats he puts cereal and macaroni and cheese on pizza and nachos.
That guy?
Yeah, that moron.
Son of a bitch.
And, he's got tons of followers, but he's got no value. Like Adam said, good luck with your business long term.
Keep eating that Captain Crunch pizza.
Yeah, because anybody that tries to go down that path finds out that it doesn't work out that way for them. You know, like 90% of the people, just this person, whoever it is that's doing it, it's probably got a roaring metabolism. They're young as fuck. They move around all day long, so they're burning a bunch of calories. They can't gain weight if they're life. I remember being that kid. I could eat, Captain Crunch pizza.
Have you ever eaten 10,000 calories in a day? Do you know what's the most calories you've ever eaten?
Like that's
probably close to 8.
Disgusting.
Yeah, probably 8.
And that was made up of what? Like,
well, that was also
you probably drank a lot of it.
No,
too.
that was
not alcohol.
Post-show.
Yeah.
So post-show, coming out of being so depleted for so many weeks, and then coming out, and then being able to eat whatever I want, which is why too. Like I remember speaking about this shows about how dangerous that is post-show because I went through it. So I remember being okay. Show's over. Eat what I want, and then it starts off with an In-N-Out, and man, they don't even come close to filling me up. And then it's a milkshake, and then it's donuts, and then it's candy, and it's just like, and then one thing after another because I was so depleted that, and then you get those super palatable foods that start to kick up the cravings, and then I remember gorging. I must have did this at 2 different shows. And I remember going like, "Oh my God, this is crazy!" And then the next day you wake up and you want more and more and more, and then it heads.
That's what I'm saying.
Real easy to head down that path.
The human body comes with these natural checks and balances, and some of the checks and balances actually prevent you from eating too much. Believe it or not, and I know that's hard to believe because today, in today's day and age, most people eat too much. But the reality is that the types of foods that we, for the most part, evolved eating are these kind of whole natural foods. They weren't these hyper palatable foods. And you go ahead and try to eat a shit ton of calories of very basic, plain, whole natural foods. It's very difficult. You hit what's called palate fatigue very quickly. Right, very, very quickly, you'll find yourself getting sick of what you're eating. You'll find that you might get a little nauseous and you just can't eat anymore. And so these are natural systems to prevent you from overeating. Now, the way people get around them is they eat these hyper palatable processed foods that hijack your brain into getting you to eat more. It's extremely unhealthy. And there's we're starting to find that there's long-term effects from doing stuff like this. Like in animal studies now, they're finding that when they restrict the animals and then have them binge right afterwards, they don't just get fatter. In other words, they don't just get bigger fat cells. They add fat cells. Yeah, we actually increase the number of fat cells.
We got into this a little bit with Lane, didn't we?
We did.
After how the importance of reverse dieting after these things.
That's right. And what happens when you add fat cells, the odds are you never get rid of them. Now, we don't know for sure, but what we do know is when you lose weight, fat cells just shrink. So let's say you increase the number of your fat cells by 20%. Now when you try and get lean, it becomes more difficult. You just have more total fat cells on your body. And that's not a.
This is my theory of why a lot of competitors struggle show after show after show too, is because they binge purge, and they on the off season they all just eat like crazy, and it's like, dude, you're adding fat cells. So then when you go to lean down again,
you can see it. They don't look as sharp.
Yeah, expecting yourself to get as shredded or as lean again is really
the body's doing what it's supposed to do. It sees this extreme famine, right? And so it's just trying to like help you out for the next season, like by adding more fat cells to that.
Well, what it does is the theory is that yes, you starve yourself, and then when you refeed, your body wants to then store more body fat. But when you're eating so many calories that you are literally challenging your body's ability to store it. That's what happens. So when you eat 10,000 calories, you're challenging your body's ability,
stretching your abilities
to store that amount of energy. And your body doesn't want to do that. It doesn't want to be in a position where you get a flood of energy and it can't store it because it's a waste. So what your body does is it increases its ability to store energy. It actually adapts in a way so that it adapts better with more energy, or it becomes more efficient at storing calories. And the way it does that is by adding fat cells. So literally your body is trying to get to a point where the next time you eat 10,000 calories, we're not going to let those calories go to waste. You're not going to overcome our ability to store calories. Right. We've got more fat cells now. Right. So it's a great way of training your body to be fatter easier and more often. That's what these cheat day, challenges do, and they are cheap gimmicks and they're stupid.
And you're right, Sal. I mean, it's more disgusting when it's done by health and fitness professionals.
It's crazy. It's so hypocritical.
Yeah, it's one thing if like you're just some moron on YouTube who just does weird shit, like whatever.
Yeah,
to each their own. But if you consider yourself a health and fitness professional and you claim that you're giving out healthy advice or fitness advice, and then you turn around and you do these things like that, you're setting up a lot of people for failure, and you're putting. I think you're putting out a really poor message. and it's all just to attract followers. Because when I look through the feeds on some of these YouTube pages, it's one of the things. For some reason, we love to watch people gorge. I mean, I don't know what that is. Like, it's just like that.
Not me.
It's like that TV show that's like the hoarders, and then the people that are like super obese. Like, we're drawn to seeing that. I don't know what it is. If it's because it's an extreme thing or makes us feel better or whatever it is. But
maybe both those things.
Right. It draws a lot of attention, and the professionals that are or the ones that claim to be professionals that are doing it, I think they're doing it for just cheap views, just so they can build their page or build their business, and it's short lived.
Next question is from A Bulls 15. My lower back is really sore and tight when I wake up every morning. Is it because of how I sleep, or do I need to do some correctional exercises to alleviate the soreness and tightness?
It could be both.
Yeah. Now, barring that you sleep terribly, so let's say you sleep normally and you have a normal mattress that you sleep on. You shouldn't wake up with a tight, sore
That shouldn't
body.
happen every morning. Like,
No.
There's something else going on.
No, and what I hate is that people will say, "Oh, I have to get a new bed. I have to get." And I get it because that can help, but it's kind of like a crutch. It's like saying, when I walk for longer than a mile, my knee starts to hurt, and so
Right.
rather than figuring out why my knee is hurting, I'm going to wear a knee brace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't think it's because of how you sleep, unless you sleep terribly. I think you have some posture and imbalance issues that need to get alleviated, because here's the thing. If you're really fit and healthy and everything's in balance, you should be able to sleep on the floor. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Mm-hmm. You should literally be able to sleep on the floor and wake up without any stiffness or pain. So if you're finding those things, what's probably happening, what's most common, I don't know you and I don't know what your posture looks like, but I'm going to guess because this is the most common thing. The most common thing that I see is this excessive anterior pelvic tilt.
Right, lower cross syndrome.
Yeah, it's where the butt kind of arches and sticks out, low back bar arches. And so when you're sleeping, you're probably
Instagram model posture.
Yeah, you're probably in that kind of shortened, low back position, maybe some shearing force on the low back, and you're not able to support yourself real well because you're relaxed, and then that's what's causing pain. So the way I would offset that, if that was the issue, I would do like pelvic tilts. I would do, plank exercises where you actually
Back presses.
go in a posterior tilt, back presses.
Didn't you write a guide for this?
I wrote a back pain guide. You can get it at mindpumpfree.com that talks about some of the stuff. And then we have on our YouTube channel, we actually have videos on back pain. But yeah, this is it's probably not due to sleeping. It's probably due to the fact that you've got some.
And I would
some
say
muscle
it's not like right when you wake up to, like, the initial thought is to, I got to do some mobility exercises, right when I wake up to kind of like address this. Like, you should be doing that throughout the day, like, and really like take it as a priority, because when you get to the bed and you go to sleep, you should be able to be in better alignment and wake up without these types of pains. And I know it's interesting because even with myself, like, I've noticed when I would wake up and I got past like the 30 age, like, I was starting to notice like certain things. I'd go to tie my shoes and I'd be like certain pains that weren't there before.
The old man sound.
Yeah, like, I mean, it happens, but now you have to like realize, I have to put more effort and more attention into priming and being diligent, before I add all this load and stress, to my joints. So it's just something that you have to like set as a priority.
Yeah,
now.
pain is one of the once you hurt, it's almost like you're towards the end of the signals that your body's going to give you. After that chronic pain comes big injury. So you want to address that. And here's the other thing, that goes along with that. When you start to work on these issues and the pain goes away, that doesn't mean the issue is completely gone. It just means it's gone enough to not cause pain. Continue to work towards getting to a point where it's no longer an issue. Because like I said, pain is that last signal. Some of the early signals are changes in movement,
I used to
changes
fight
in posture.
Courtney about this all the time because she's had lower back pain, and she'd get to a point where doing all these like mobility drills and would alleviate it, and then like she wouldn't feel it, and then it would inevitably come back because she'd go right back into the same type of rituals and routines and the way that she would move and work out, and it took like waves of that. Like, it took for her to finally realize, I should keep doing this. I continually doing it.
I was trying to look up a study that I remember reading that talked about. They took like 200 or so individuals, like half male, half female, And what came out was the LC, so lower cross syndrome, which is what we're talking about, which is tight hip flexors, weak abdominals, between the ages of like 20 and 30 are extremely common. And beyond that, the numbers are even higher. But they were doing this study on like even just young adults, like because 30 years ago, it was just kind of unheard of that young adults with low back pain, that was something that you typically heard, as you get older and like, oh, okay, when you're 50, all the aches and pains, that's because you're old. That's what we used to say. Mm-hmm. But because of how sedentary we are as Americans now, it's becoming very prevalent with 20 to 30-year-olds and even more prevalent with women. So women are more common to have these issues. I think it was like 50-something to 60% of the women were had weak hip flexors or weak abdominals and tight hip flexors that were causing this low back pain.
That's due to the shoes that they're wearing. Heels will definitely exacerbate
that too. You know what I'm saying? So it's either they're wearing high heels a lot of the time. They're sitting down at a desk. You're sitting down in a chair all the time. We're not working our core and abdominals. So you have weak abs. So that's contributing to it. And then you just get these hips that kick out, and then you have this shortened low back that's tight, overactive all the time. And then you go and lay in your bed in a fixed position where you already are not evenly balanced or in a neutral kind of spine. And then it just feels super, super, just like as if you were to take your bicep and you were to like do a bicep pose and flex as hard as you can, and you were to flex for 5 hours, or what do you sleep, 6 to 8 hours, for 6 hours of a straight flexed muscle, and then try and open your arm up after that and tell me how you feel.
Yeah, you don't even have to flex it. You could just take your arm. Yeah, just take your arm closed.
No, great point. You don't even have to flex it, But that's
when you go stretch it. Oh, that's like, tight.
Ooh, but that's what you're doing, right? Like we just don't think of it that way because we don't look at it. We don't see those, those muscles. It's on our low back, and it's such a small deviation that people aren't really thinking about that. But that's what's going on is you're tensing this muscle up all day long, and then you go lay in bed with it and it's still in that tensed position, and so then you wake up and it feels like you've got this.
We're just so anterior focused. I mean, throughout the day, everything is so much based on what's right in front of you, and that's why it's so important when you go to the gym or you work out that you consider, how do I better activate? How do I better recruit and get my posterior chain involved in all these movements? Because that's what's going to support you and support your spine, even more effectively.
Right. And here's another thing too. Try not to eat a big meal before going to bed. That actually may change how your body positions itself.
Well, that makes sense too, Sal, because you fill up your stomach, and then if you got muscles like your psoas and these hip flexors that run through that area, so you're just putting more tightness there, more inflammation potentially there. Which
and it can contribute. I've never
thought of that. But
I've actually had clients not eat a few hours before bed and find that takes away some of their stiffness and pain as well.
Next question is from Mr. Fricky. What do you guys think about barefoot shoes? Can similar benefits be gained from flat soles like Chucks?
Did you see the I love when Taylor gets on there and actually responds. Do you see? Have you been
like Team Converse or something like
that?
No.
He says that the jury's still out on them and Uggs.
Uggs.
Because he hates Uggs. So he's like he's like super anti the leggings with the Uggs, which has been a trend for like since Britney Spears, and he's just like, he thinks it's like this fashion faux pas to do that, and he's like anti it. So he talks shit about Uggs all the time, and so he's referencing the Vibram or whatever shoes, the barefoot shoes.
They're not very stylish. I mean, you got to really commit, to wearing those. But yeah, I'll wear them every now and then. Like walking around and going on hikes and stuff. Like I have like minimalist shoes that I prefer to use because less is more in terms of like really. And here's the thing, dude. Like, there's a lot of people out there, especially in our space, like getting all woo-woo about like grounding and getting your feet and like toes, but there's a lot of truth in that in terms of like really activating your toes and spreading them apart and getting them to grip and feeling muscles on the bottom of your feet. Like, we just don't do a good job of that.
This was something that we changed our opinion on.
Yeah,
we did an episode. If you've been an OG. This is for the new listeners that don't know this, but if you've been an OG, you will probably remember this. I remember personally talking shit about those shoes, and then I haven't changed that much. I still would talk shit about them because they are goofy as fuck. But I see a tremendous amount of value around them now, more so than I did then. And for me, that big game changer was when I met Dr. Brink. And when I met Dr. Brink and I was dealing with my, bursitis in my hips, and I've got the low back stuff, and I got the lower cross syndrome going on. And so I know I need to address that. And I was not even looking at my feet. Mm-hmm. And that was all he was addressing when he first met me. It was just like, dude, you're pronating hard on this one side, and then that's running up the kinetic chain, and that's why you feel here. And he just hit everything on me, and I was just blown away by all these issues that I was having were stemming from my foot. And it was such a subtle thing that I had been doing it for so long that I didn't even realize what it was causing. And so when he broke me down and then I started to put the work in to fix that, it just, everything came together. Like my bursitis went away. I don't have low back issues anymore. And now I coupled that with a lot of mobility work and other things that I was doing.
That's super important, because you go put barefoot shoes on,
right, and
expect to fix your feet without correctional exercise. You're not. All you're going to do is strengthen and balance. It's no different than if I see somebody with where their shoulders roll forward, and I say, "Oh, the exercise you should do is rows," and they go do a bunch of rows without understanding how to activate their mid back. All they do is make the balance worse. Because this is what ended up happening. There was this huge movement not that long ago with barefoot running. And there were these books that were written about how, hunter-gatherers run, and how you see these
people are hurting themselves.
Yeah, and they were putting these shoes on, these barefoot shoes, are going barefoot, and they're like, oh, cool, I'm going to go run like this from now on. Massive injuries and lots of problems because they never corrected the problem to begin with.
Yep.
If you want to gain benefits from wearing barefoot shoes, just putting barefoot shoes on is probably not going to give you the benefits unless it's a huge disparity. In other words, let's say you walked around in heels all the time, well, then you might get some benefit. But really the main benefit's going to come from correcting those recruitment patterns, strengthening your foot in the right way, and wearing the barefoot shoes. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, MAPS Prime Pro has a specific section on foot and ankle movements, repatterning movements, and mobility movements. If you really want to improve the strength of your feet, which like Adam's saying, will make I can't understate this. It will make a huge difference.
I could argue it's probably like one of the most impactful, and like in terms of if you're an athlete and you're trying to assess like what can I do to like increase my performance, like 10x my performance, to just strengthen your feet and your ankles and put like a lot of emphasis in that direction. It will have so much transfer into like your performance and how your body moves and responds. That's your contact point to direct all of the force you can generate. Like your feet need to be able to handle that, and it can handle more the stronger it gets, and it'll stabilize those forces the stronger you get.
Yeah. I'm having my daughter do a bunch of foot exercises right now because I noticed that her foot she flat. They get real flat. That's how mine always want to be. So we're giving her exercises like short foot. So really, I think we did a video. We've done some videos on YouTube, right?
That's a tough one. Short foot.
We have, and Eldoa. I was part. The Eldoa came in this week and taught their level 1, level 2, and I got a chance to sit in a little bit. And they actually have a really cool foot warm up that I liked. I'll show you guys later on. That I think is cool, and it's. You're back and forth and you're rolling in and out, and I think it's a cool little warm up that people could add, and maybe we can shoot a YouTube video on it. It's really basic, really simple, but I think everybody can use it just because we all wear crutches on our feet.
Yep.
I mean, everybody walks around in shoes all day long. So back to the barefoot shoes. Like, yes, I see. This is one of the things like we talk about on the show that. Many times our paradigm has been shattered, or we have said something and then came back and corrected it. I talked a lot of shit about those shoes for a long time, and now I see value in them. But like Sal said, only if you put the other work in. Otherwise, you're just some clown wearing barefoot shoes because everybody's wearing it. If you're not putting the work into exercising and strengthening your feet and working on the problems that you have, like flat foot or the feet pronating, or externally rotating, or whatever you have going on, whatever deviation you have going on in your feet or lack of connection you have there, if you're not addressing that, and your only way of addressing that is wearing, barefoot shoes or whatever, you're not really doing shit for yourself other than looking silly when you walk around in them.
Next question is from Mark in the Mountains. What's your opinion on being a trainer part-time? Is online training something you should do even if you have no in-person training experience?
Oh, I'd say the biggest, fastest growing market of personal training is online. You're seeing a lot more people go that route, probably with the popularity of social media.
I don't think you should be an online trainer if you haven't had, in-person experience. I think it's a horrible idea.
Yeah, you're probably right, Justin. Training people virtually is actually more challenging.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Because you're not there with the person, and so. Training someone online without that one-on-one experience, that's got to be a difficult way to do it.
All of my years of experience and certifications and whatever, like, I still think it's challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, to first of all have a client that can even articulate their problem they're having well is already fucking 1 in 100.
There you go.
Right? Because how many clients do you have ever been able to explain an issue to you really well and articulate what's going on? And so many times I've had a client tell me, "Oh, this is what's going on." Then I watch them like, "Oh, this is what's going on with you."
No, it's such a good point. You have to think for them.
Right.
You have to stay a million steps ahead of them and then draw out the program accordingly because it's that they don't know what they don't know. And so you're the professional that has to really steer the ship in that regard. And you don't get that kind of experience unless you do it one-on-one and you get multiple reps, and interactions with real people, because these are so many variables that you won't know to think about until you actually are in person, faced with those obstacles.
Yeah. Not to mention, okay, and I know Mark is really smart. He's one of our forum guys, and I know he's a well-read person, and so I know he's intelligent enough, so he probably has a lot of information and answers that you could potentially give your online clients. But you know what I think of when I see someone like that? I'm going to talk some shit right now, too, is what's that dork's name? Vegan Gains. He has a YouTube channel.
Here we go.
And this is what I see when I see someone like that. I see somebody who sits behind a computer all fucking day long and reads studies and reads articles and is really, really fucking smart when it comes to that. And so he bashes all these people online and tears them apart. But his practical knowledge or hands-on knowledge is little to none. And you can tell by the way he talks about training, about nutrition, is like, how many fucking real people have you sat in front of and really truly helped? Because there's another piece to this puzzle that is extremely important. I had this conversation with all these really smart kids that were at Eldoa, because Eldoa is like a super high level,
very high level,
very high level certification. And so we had a room full of all these really smart, nerdy trainers. And I said, it's one thing to get these certifications, and I think it's really good. I think there's a lot of application that comes with Eldoa to the average person. But if you can't distill that information and you don't have the experience and knowledge to know what the common mishaps or mistakes that clients make along that journey, and you can't help coach them through that process or get them to execute something, then all the fucking knowledge in the world is worthless. So that's what I worry about with somebody who's never done in-person training and they have all this book knowledge, and so they think that they can coach somebody online. It's like, well, yeah, you could, but I don't know how effective that you really could be. And maybe somebody who is themselves very knowledgeable and they just need a little more guidance in the right direction, or maybe they have an incredible amount of experience with anatomy and biomechanics, and so when you explain something via phone or via text message or email, they can then take that and then they can apply it. But in my experience, most of the people that hire me, their level of knowledge of anatomy, biomechanics, nutrition, human physiology is very, very minimal, and they are still learning about themselves. And so when they say things like, "Oh, this hurts" or "this bothers me," like that right there in itself, it takes me like digging and digging to even figure out what it is they're trying to explain to me, because they don't know the difference between pain, soreness, chronic pain.
Gas.
And to play devil's advocate, you could definitely gain experience online, because when people first start training one-on-one, they have to learn these things. But here's the difference. Here's the big difference. The big difference is when you're training people in person, you see them for a full hour. You're sitting there conversing with them for a full hour. You get to see how they move. You get to manipulate how they move, hands-on. And so the learning process is faster. It becomes much more faster and much deeper than when you do something, online where you've never worked with anybody in person and all you're doing is online. And yes, you can build experience online as well, but how much longer is it going to take you to learn something online when you don't have that opportunity to sit with someone and work with people one-on-one? I mean, it took me, years to become an excellent trainer of experience one-on-one in person. Gosh, if I just started online, I think it would have taken me twice as long to become good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that experience of working with people in front of me. And you have different conversations. It's funny when I'm sitting in front of somebody in person and we get to have that whole dedicated hour together and I'm training them, we start to communicate. I start to get more information out of that individual that I maybe would not have gotten if it was just done through text or even through phone call, because many times you'll ask a client like, here's a simple one. This is silly, but this is true. You'll ask somebody and you'll say something like, so do you have any aches or pains? They'll be like, nope, I have none at all. Okay. Then you'll start training them and they'll be like, oh, I can't do that because my back hurts.
Yep.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
And you're
wait, you told me in the beginning there was no, previous injuries. Like literally, I've had people like, oh yeah, I had this surgery on my shoulder. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You just marked off. It just happens.
Yeah,
like
or
that.
you'll be
People
like,
just
how's your sleep? Do you sleep really good? Oh, I sleep every night. I get 8 hours of sleep. Okay, no problem. Then you'll be training them in person, and just because you're with them for an hour, you just have normal conversation, and they'll be like, oh yeah, last night I had to get up at 3 and I had to get up at whatever. And you'll be like, does that happen often? Yeah, it happens almost every other night. And you start to realize, okay, this person has no idea what good sleep is. And I'm learning this because I get to work with this person in person. Now, how does that translate to online coaching? Well, as an online coach, through this experience, I now know what questions to ask.
Yes.
I now know when I need to dig deeper, and I now know how to convey information.
Predictive behavior.
Exactly. And this is just through experience.
Well, yeah,
you get experience.
You get how many things too, like with little movements and exercise, you get something like a lat pull down. How many times have I heard this? A lat pull down and someone's like, my forearms are getting so pumped and burning. What am I doing wrong? Like that's the question you get from a client. Like, what the fuck? I'm not there. I don't see the movement. And someone tells me something like that. Now, lucky for me, I've watched,
and you've heard that 100 times,
and I've heard this 100 times. So they're probably more than likely every time they pull that bar in, they're slightly rolling their wrist as they come in, because it's just a natural thing to do. As you pull something closer to you, that last couple inches, you tend to have this slight little wrist roll, and that's just a subtlety, like a very subtle thing that I've seen happen hundreds of times before on a client that ends up causing them to fatigue their forearms, and now they feel it on their forearms and not their back. So if you didn't have that experience to do that, and someone messages over a text message or a phone call tells you that, like, what are you thinking? What could possibly going through your head? Like, I don't know what would go through my head if I had not already had those. And that's just one random example that just popped in my head.
Tiny one.
There's thousands of examples like that of where I can go, oh, okay, could be this, could be this, could be that. And that's even when I was online coaching, that's how a lot of my responses still are. It's never like, oh, you're doing this. It's normally, it might be this, check this, pay attention to this next time, get back to me on this.
Exactly.
It's like, I still got to troubleshoot it.
Send me a video doing this specifically.
But even that, it's not real time, right? And even with the video, sometimes they take it, a certain way.
They'll try harder.
Wait a minute. Can you take a video from this angle?
You can't see anything.
Yeah, Jessica, she's going full time online, 100%. So she's going to be doing all online training, no more, one-on-one training. And, some of the stuff that she's learned through this, which is, stuff that we talk about, with online, because online coaching's exploded. It's exploded in the sense that you see a lot of people offering these services. And a lot of these people start these pages in social media, and their goal is to have, tens of thousands of followers. You don't need that. You got to provide a lot of value and be able to communicate with your people with lots of value. And this is another important thing that we communicate on the show as we talk about this, because I think there's a misunderstanding where they're going to start an online training business and their goal is, oh, okay, I have 30,000 followers. This means I'm going to be able to convert that into a successful online coaching. Not really. Not if you're not providing, really, really good value. Right. I know pages with hundreds of thousands of followers who could not turn it into an online coaching business.
Right.
Jessica's page, what she have, like 5,000 followers, the training hour, 5,000 followers, 6,000 followers, but she's done it through value. This is a very important thing to pay attention to. You still have to provide a shit ton of value when you're doing coaching, whether you're doing it in person or doing it online. Very, very, very important. So check this out. If you go to mindpumpfree.com, you can check out some of our free guides. The latest guide that we have is on how to squat like a pro. And we did mention a low back pain or a back pain guide. That is also available there. There are 10 other guides you could choose from. You can get one or you can get all of them. Again, it's mindpumpfree.com.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.